and welcome to my channel where I make dishes inspired by some of my favorite video game characters. Today's dish is inspired by Chie Satonaka from Persona 4. Chie is such an interesting character to me for so many ways. It's crazy for me to reflect, but I remember finding Chie really annoying when I first started up Persona 4. I remember thinking that she was a little too energetic and gung-ho, which is crazy to me now because Chie is not only one of my favorite characters in Persona 4, but she's one of my favorite characters in the Persona series, period. Now I love how spunky and tomboyish she is. I love her dynamic with Yukiko because I relate to her so much, and I think that's a big reason I was standoffish of Chie at first, because she's a lot like me. My best friend in grade school was very much like Yukiko. Her family was very well off, she was really feminine and gorgeous, and she was one of the popular kids. I remember loving our friendship, and I knew that she really liked me for me, but there was some imposter syndrome, like, she's so cool and everyone likes her, and I'm really lame and boyish compared to her. Another friendship I absolutely adore, and honestly it actually is my favorite in the Persona series, is her relationship with Yosuke. They are so much like brother and sister, it's crazy, constantly bickering at each other and cracking jokes at one another, but deep down having a really strong friendship. I love using Chie in battle and find her battle style with her powerful legs to be adorable, and I even get giddy watching her hop around while you decide what action to take. At the end of the day, I love Chie so much as a character because she is unapologetically herself. And even though those parts of herself can seem like a lot at first, you can't deny that Chie is giving you her true self at all times. There's a pretty obvious choice for Chie when it comes to food: steak and beef bowls. Chie constantly gets extremely excited about stuffing her face with meaty, protein-packed goodness throughout the game. When coming up with her recipe, it just didn't feel right to make anything else for her, even if it was just steak bowl inspired. We have to make the real deal thing, and we have to make it stuffed with strong flavors to give Chie lots of energy. So, to be exact, we'll be making a Yakiniku bowl for Chie because, as she says, you can't do anything without eating steak. Here's what you'll need to make your own: 1.5 pounds of thin steak such as round, flank, or flat iron, soy sauce, gochujang sauce, mirin, ginger, 1 pear, garlic, sesame oil, peanut oil, dark brown sugar, white rice, 2 large eggs, sesame seeds for garnish, and sliced green onions for garnish. You'll have to start this dish a couple hours before you're ready to eat, as we need to let our meat marinate for at least 2 hours. When you're ready to get going, you'll grab your thin steak, and against the grain you'll cut the steak into very thin slices, almost as if you're trying to shave the steak. Once your steak is all sliced, you'll toss all of the pieces into a medium bowl and set it to the side. We'll then prepare our marinade. Once your cutting board is all washed, you'll do a little bit of prep there first. You'll need to peel at least 5 cloves of garlic, then you'll need to cut your pear in half, and lastly, you'll need to peel your ginger and collect about 2 teaspoons worth. None of these 3 ingredients need to be minced or cut small because we'll be blending everything together in just a minute or 2. Now to a blender, you'll add in a 1/3 cup of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of gochujang sauce, 1.5 tablespoons of mirin, your 2 teaspoons of ginger, your half of a pear, your 5 cloves of garlic, 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, 1 tablespoon of peanut oil, and 4 tablespoons of dark brown sugar. Pulse and blend everything together until the sauce is smooth and well mixed, and make sure that there are no large clumps inside. We'll then pour the sauce into the bowl with your steak slices. Stir everything around well until all pieces and surfaces of the steak become coated with the marinade. Once well coated, go ahead and cover the bowl with some plastic wrap and then place into your fridge to marinate for at least 2 hours before you cook. Feel free to use your free time however you'd like, but once your 2 hours are up and you're ready to get cooking, start preparing your rice. We'll be cooking about 2 cups of white rice, so start cooking in your rice cooker or on your stovetop so that it's all ready to go once your steak is done cooking. Also, before you head to the stovetop, we'll wash and cut our green onions and separate the green and white ends from each other. Steak! We're now ready for the main event. we'll start heating and preparing our wok on high heat. Coat the surface with a neutral cooking oil, like peanut oil. Then once the oil is smoking, discard and then add in another layer of peanut oil. We'll then place in our marinated steak in a single layer over the wok's surface. You'll likely need to cook in a couple batches to make sure that all of the slices of steak get equal treatment. No worries, because the steak takes only about 5 minutes to cook in total, so it won't take long to work in batches. Anyways, once you have a single layer of your steak in the wok, you'll heat the meat for about 3 minutes without stirring. Once your 3-minute timer goes off, you'll flip the steak and continue cooking and occasionally tossing for another 2 to 3 minutes until browned. You'll then remove the cooked steak from the wok and continue this process until all of your steak is cooked. While your batches of steak are cooking, we'll grab a separate small skillet and heat it on medium heat with some olive oil. Once the surface is warm, we'll toss in the white ends of our green onions and cook and occasionally stir for about 5 minutes until the onions have developed a little bit of a golden coloring. Once cooked, place on a separate plate and reserve for later. Our last step of the dish is to fry our eggs. In your wok, lower the heat to medium and feel free to wipe or clean off any excess sauce or any sauce that has started to burn and char. You don't need to deeply clean your wok at all though. Lightly oil your wok, then working one at a time or cracking both, you'll add your eggs to the wok and cook for about 1 minute on each side, or to your own desired doneness. Again, once your eggs are done frying, place on a separate plate. We can then prepare to serve everything up. Add your cooked white ends of the green onions to your cooked white rice, and fluff and toss everything until well combined. You'll then spoon some of your rice to a serving bowl, then top the rice with your cooked steak, and then throw your fried egg on top of the steak. Garnish the bowl with your sliced green onions and with some sesame seeds. With that, you're ready to serve. This dish sure does pack a punch or a kick. The steak is incredibly flavorful due to the marinade and the perfect char from cooking. The egg is nice and fluffy with a nice and salty flavor that complements the steak well. Speaking of fluffy, the fluffy rice goes so well with everything in the dish, and when you get a bite of all 3 components together, it's heaven. It's so filling and delicious, and it's totally worth every minute the meat spent marinating. I have no doubts that Chie would love and devour this steak bowl, obviously, as she eats many of them throughout Persona 4. She's had plenty of steak bowls, but she'd have to say that this particular one is incredibly special. She'd love to sit down to this Yakiniku special on the streets of Inaba with the investigation team, and she'd be observing with watchful eyes to see if any of her friends left any crumbs so that she wouldn't let them go to waste. As we know, a lot of characters in the game are not the best at cooking, including Chie and Yukiko, so she couldn't really rely on any of her friends to make it from scratch. Chie could try, but the rice would probably be uncooked, the steak burnt to a crisp, and the egg filled with many pieces of shell. She'll save the cooking to the professionals. After all, she has too much fighting and butt kicking to do. The recipe card is in the video description if you'd like a more quick and concise version to give it a try. Like if you want a bite, subscribe for more geeky treats, and comment what foods Chie reminds you of. Thanks for following along.